What is the strangest thing that your cell phone has ever done?
Yeah, a lot of those things are actually in the film. But I've gotten messages that say they have there's nothing in them, and they're from no one, and they're to me. I've also gotten the map on my phone led me to a cliff, and told me
Oh,
to keep driving forward.
all right. So thanks so much for joining me today. I've got director Luke Sommer, writer Rachel Sommer, and stars Whitney Rose Pynn, Justin Jackson, and Jared Noble of Cellphone, which is coming to digital on February 13th, 2024. It is a horror film that has this really beautiful artistic style, some really fun, quirky characters, and some horrible things that happen. It is a fun film. It has a really kind of interesting slow burn build up. So I'm really excited to talk to you, and thanks so much for joining me.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having
You.
me.
This is gonna be a
Of
blast.
course. So first thing, I hope everyone has turned their cell phones off and maybe like put them in a box, thrown them in a lake somewhere far away
Yeah,
because we don't want any of that happening.
preferably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
All right. So I'm just curious, Rachel, you wrote this movie. What was your inspiration for this? Is your cell phone acting up, or is there some deeper story behind this movie?
Yeah, so this was actually a short film first. Luke Summers, my brother, and the short film was, gosh, like 10 years ago at this point, and we're always collaborating, always working together. We've made several things, and he came to me one day and was like, "What if there's like a monster in a cell phone?" And that really just something clicked for me, and I was like, "What if your cell phone is, it's watching us, it's listening to us all the time, but what if it's listening to like our worst fears and playing into that? And like, what would you do in that moment? If you're sort of, because you're not just fighting against the cell phone, you're fighting against yourself and like your worst fears." So that's sort of how it like expanded and grew into the story. And the character of Wynne came along, and Chris and all these people in the film. And it's really a story about the phone showing you your worst fears, and fears are in the future, and how do you overcome that?
Yeah, I think all of us are afraid of our cell phones and what our future will hold in this horrible digital world. But I do like how you turned it into like an actual horror fear as well. So I love the start of that. Luke, I assume you were always set to direct this movie. Was this something that you were always set to direct, or did you just kind of have to step up because that's how indie movies work?
yeah. No, this film. I was definitely always involved from the short all the way through. It's really the our parents as well produced this, so this was a family project, and yeah, it definitely was. I mean, for me, technology, I'm always reading about it. I love it in one way, and then in another way, there's this you know underpinning of gloom and doom, and what will it become of it as it keeps progressing. So that was definitely drew me to the story. But also, this film deals a lot with just the psychological and mental aspects of people. And it can't just be a movie about technology. It has to be, you have to have the human heart and the human condition in there. And I think a lot of people are dealing with mental health and just and the technology is contributing to that in a great way. I believe that. So this project was really spoke to me in that way.
Very cool. And yes, I do think that technology is probably negatively affecting everyone's, mental health. It's great in some respects, right? Like we're talking
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know wherever you are through the magic, and no one is looking like they're getting murdered. So I think that's probably good. But yeah, in other ways, it is very bad. All right, so Whitney, Justin, and Jared, how did you get involved in this film? How did you kind of come across this script? I guess we'll start with Whitney.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty special the way I feel like the script really found me. I had taken 5 years off of acting to really just focus on my own mental health. And then I just put it out into the cosmos. I said, I don't have it in me to run around LA auditioning right now, but and now with Zoom and everything, I don't even know if you have to be running around like that. But I said, if a role were to fall into my lap, I would love to take it. And, within a couple days, An old director I had worked with reached out and he said, I just hopped off a call with some producers. They're looking to cast the lead in their film. And, you know, here we are. So it was I was blown away when I read the script. I knew that I definitely wanted to be a part of it.
I love that. I love how method you are, that you know, worked on your own mental health for 5 years to prepare for this one role where you have
I
to
know.
evaluate your mental health. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And Jared, just because you're in the same room, how did you get involved in this film? Are you a package deal? I guess I don't know.
Well, no. So the funny thing is Whitney and I met on the film, and we play an engaged couple in the film, and we are engaged in real life. So when I got the call from my agent to audition, I actually auditioned for a different role, two different roles actually, and luckily I didn't get either one, or the one that I had auditioned to before, because I never would have been on set with Whitney, never would have met her. So it's been an adventure with the casting process, and obviously I'm glad I didn't get the role of Chris, because I auditioned for that and Justin blew it out the water. Never would have been able to do what he did. So, props, big guy.
I love how life imitates art, right? And also, you both are apparently very method too, right? That is a commitment to your craft to get engaged after, to really dig in.
We're still in character.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you need to be for the sequel, right? You never know when Cellphone 2 is going to come out. So,
Yeah.
So Justin, how did you get involved in this film? And yeah, like what spoke to you about Chris? Because I love Chris.
Yeah, Chris is great. I think what really, I don't know if you heard that, but my refrigerator just turned on. But I just want to acknowledge that if that was a sound. When I first got the script and the like lines for Chris, it was like an audition stuff. So they cut like a little bit of the first scene, I believe, that we get introduced to Chris for me to send. And I remember reading through that and just falling in love with Chris, and just the way that Chris will build an entire world with a phrase, because his brain is trying to connect to another thought, which is trying to connect to another thought. And he really does fall in love. Like, he's in love with this connection between like life and art, and like just like the human connection between things. So I like just saying words and being like, oh, that word sounds like this and this feels like that. And that also feels, I feel so connected to that. Because there's so many times where I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but like you kind of describe something based on something that makes no sense. Like, oh, eating this hamburger feels like riding a roller coaster right now. And it just feels spiritually connected, not necessarily like they're actually connected. But he's very much in that world, and I just love that about Chris. So that's what definitely drew me to having to play the role.
Yeah, no, I loved the way he was thinking. It was like really, it was odd at first because he's this quirky character in this like serious artistic horror movie, but then it just worked. It was nice to have like, a little bit of quirk in there. He was a little bit more comedic, and I'm just curious, like those monologues that he kind of goes on as he's making these connections, was that in the script? I assume some of it was. Did you just kind of like go off on your own, and Luke just kind of let you go to see what would happen? Like, where was the balance in that?
Yeah, there was a delicate balance that we had to ride for Chris. I think it started, especially for that first scene. It was important for me as Chris to establish the crispness that the script nails initially. So I think a lot of that is verbatim. A lot of his scenes are verbatim, but there are some times where Luke let the reins off, and I went in there and just improvised as much as I could. Some things stuck, some things hit the wall and fall down, but it was a blast to be able to like find this, like have the script inform so much of the character and truly nail down its characteristics so that I could live in Chris a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just want to add that, like, I think that's what makes Justin such an incredible actor. I was on set as well, and he not only memorized like word for word what Chris shared, but then he also had this amazing ability to improv. And in one scene in particular in the movie, you know, Luke was just, and we all were like, just go for it. Like just improv how you would actually react in this scene. And it's just gold. Like it's just perfect. And so it's amazing to have an actor that can do both. Like,
Yeah, I think if I relate it to music, you know, I think the best musicians have the ability to play note for note something, but then they also can riff within that. And that's what Justin, you know, really got to do, you know, at the key moments. So it's the whole package.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important because it felt very natural. Like I can imagine if you were strictly trying to say the script, which we probably did at some points, like, you know, it wouldn't feel as organic as some of the things where you're like talking and then you're finding like this copper coil or this like strange statue.
no, I
like,
mean, I'm gonna say that is script. Like that's word for
wow.
word.
Yeah.
And like, there's really, I mean, there's only really one scene that he was improvising, and so I am like eternally grateful as a writer that he would memorize that like word for word because it was on the page. So bless you, Justin Jackson.
No, thank you for the opportunity. It was truly just so much fun. That first scene is like iconic.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now, I know indie films, you never have enough time to really kind of get out there and do the work. How much time did you all have to like get these characters established, or did you just like jump in and kind of build your relationships as filming happened?
Mm.
Because I guess it would make sense, right? Like Chris and Wynne are meeting for the first time, so maybe you don't have any sort of like chemistry developed, and that just develops over time. I don't know how the filming process was.
I
Yeah.
think if I'm sure I would love to hear someone else talk about this, but in
Just
addition
improv, Chris.
to,
Just improv does it's
yeah,
fine.
I'll riff a little bit. But us, there was like a sort of like Airbnb situation where a lot of the actors were staying. So being able to like be like, oh, we have to like get in the car to drive to set, you know, made it a little easier to like start building the relationship off screen. And then that just made a lot of the things on screen a lot easier because I didn't feel as pressured to be like, oh, I kind of have to scare Wynne or scare Whitney, or like I have to be like cool with Whitney here, or I have to like just all the little things that make it easier to do the work, which I mean, we're all professional actors. We can make that work happen without having to do that. But it just made it easier to have that kind of already light building community with both the family, the Sommers, and with the actors.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really instantly felt comfortable around you, Justin. It was just like I just felt like instantly I was like, this is my bud. Like we're gonna have fun
Yeah, for sure.
doing this, you know, crazy.
Mhm.
Like I really like the relationship that we have in the movie. It's
Yeah,
it's
me
cool.
too.
Well, and then I wanted to say that like Whitney had just slightly longer to prepare for the role, but like when she, you know, we had been told that she was just goes above and beyond in preparation, and like that is 100% true. I mean, I was so impressed when she showed up, like just leading up to the shoot, but then when she showed up day one, I mean, she had written all these notes in her script. She was asking really like important questions like about her character, and that meant like so much to us, but then it also just like meant so much to the film because it really comes through like how much preparation she did. And I mean, she's not going to say that about herself, but I was
Rachel.
blown away by how much she prepared. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Definitely sounds like a labor of love of all involved. I'm curious, this film is about, you know, weird things happening in this kind of secluded house. Did anything strange or creepy happen that was unexpected during filming?
No, I don't know. I mean, you know, a cat jumps down in the middle of the barn scene. That I don't know if that's creepy, but that was surprising.
Was it an evil haunted cat?
Possibly.
It was a nice cat. It was a nice.
yeah, no, I don't think anything nothing like that happened on the set. It was such a, I mean, we were obviously very intense, like everybody working together towards this goal, and very focused. But it's more for the story and less in real life, but it came out in the story.
Yeah, I think everybody was focused. Everybody was really supportive of one another. The end goal, everybody had the same end goal. And I think there was certainly an intensity in that at times, but a good one, because everybody knew this mattered. This all mattered to everyone.
Yeah.
There were a lot of stink bugs. We were in Ohio, and every time I saw one, I would scream. And the sound guy knew that scream of when I saw a stink bug over any other scream. But yeah,
that's awesome. Well, there you go. Yeah, you should make up other stories
house...
too, just for the mystique of the movie. Like, oh yeah, see, people's cell phones were ringing in the middle of the night for some reason, and I don't know what happens. And someone died. Like, we don't know where he went, but yeah.
Well, actually, the night or 2 nights before we were shooting, so I think it was the first night I was at the Airbnb, and I'm from New York, but then I've been living in California the past 12 years and, not used to the middle of the country, not used to tornadoes. And I get a call from Matt, the producer, one of the producers, at 2 a.m. So I haven't even really met anyone yet. And he's like, okay, there is a tornado warning and you are gonna, you should really move down to the first floor. They had told me specifically, do not go in the basement. And I was like, I'm going in the basement. And so I was downstairs and I was hugging the support beam of the house. And I was really calling my parents. I was like, I love you guys so much. And I really thought I might blow into a tree somewhere. And, now I know in Ohio, it's there's tornado.
Yeah. It's like the warning of the big one. It's like the warning of the big one on the San Andreas fault. Everyone's always worried it'll happen, but never really does. So I know that you all are very busy. I'm going to switch to, I call it the lightning round. They're just very lightweight, short questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the movie. You can feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable. First question, and anyone can just yell out an answer, so I don't have to call everyone. Have any of you ever house sat for someone?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Excellent. And no murders or mysterious deaths from that, right? I think.
No, but I found it scary. To be
that makes sense. Being in someone else's space at night does sound very scary. If anyone has an interesting story, what is the strangest thing that your cell phone has ever done?
A lot of those things are actually in the film. I've gotten messages that say there's nothing in them and they're from no one and they're to me. I've also gotten the map on my phone led me to a cliff and told me to keep driving forward. I've had a lot of scary, I guess that's influencing the movie.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's all right. Well, yeah, I guess that now I see where your inspiration for this movie came. Now I see why you're so afraid of cell phones. Before this film, have any of you ever shot a musket?
No.
Yeah. I knew we were gonna have access to the musket. That's how it showed up in the film. So yes, I did already shoot it. Yes.
I love it. Do any of you have a doppelganger that you know, like a strange doppelganger? I assume you do, Rachel, because it seems like everything is imitating there. But does anyone have a doppelganger?
No, I don't. But Luke gets compared to David Spade. All the time.
David Spade.
I can see that.
Yeah, I see that.
But I met a person that knew David Spade, really good friends, and with him, and they said I didn't look like him. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Thank you. Yeah, we need a voice of reason in these times.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've been told that there have been a lot of people in my city that have come up to me and been like, "Hey, I just saw you at so and so," and I was like, "I was not there. I've never been there." And I've gotten that a lot. So I believe I do have a doppelganger somewhere in the city that is out and about, active.
The big question, does your doppelganger have a nose ring? Because I feel like that is very unique.
Well, here's the kicker: is this is fake. It's only for fashion. It's only to make me feel cool and confident. Okay. So they might not have it. They might not
cool,
have
by the way.
Yeah, they are the less cool, less confident version.
I think I'm
gonna
get me one, Jeff.
You should. We can match. For sure. Yeah.
Awesome. And the last question will be for everyone. I'll call so we can have everyone go through. If you had to draw your worst fear on a milk jug, what would you draw? And we'll start with Rachel. It sounds like that's your cell phone, but I don't know. What's your
Oh man. If I had to draw my worst fear, it would probably be something happening to my family. I mean, not to make it too serious, but I mean, they're the most important people in my life. So that would be my worst fear if something happened to them.
That makes
Oh my
perfect
gosh,
sense.
who did the thumbs up?
I don't know.
Give me a thumbs up. Did you see that? They're like,
That is-
yeah,
that's
pretty
that's
important.
the oh my gosh. Now we're all cursed. Everyone get out, get out.
I'm telling you,
Oh
it
my.
happens to me. You see, everyone's seeing it. Okay, all right.
Luke,
That was
Luke, what's yours?
Yeah, I don't know how you draw this, but it'd be like stuck in a line seeing somebody you kind of knew, but like let's say you're in Disneyland and you're in a line for 2 hours, somebody you kind of knew, but you have to talk to him now for 2 hours. Like that would be kind of my worst fear. Like, how do you get out of that? You know?
Yeah,
So,
that is a charmed life if that is your worst fear. But that also
Yeah.
sounds very awkward to have to like make small talk with someone you sort of know, so you're obligated to talk to them for an extended period of time.
maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, Justin, what about you?
This might be too serious as well, but I think my worst fear would be being in a situation where I want to protect my family or friends from harm and knowing I can't.
All right.
I think that would be really rough on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a very elaborate milk jug too. But no, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a very big. I have multiple jugs that I take
Yeah,
together.
it'd be like a comic strip panel.
Yeah.
Jared, what about you?
I mean, I have to be serious too. I mean, it would just be something happening to a family member, you know? I mean, that would be my absolute worst fear.
Yeah. I mean, same with me, but specifically, I think because of working on Cellphone and just the nature of how we were driving and I'm driving and we get in an accident and he dies. Like I am fearful, like when we're driving together in the car, to be perfectly honest. And when he's just driving out in the world, like we have each other's locations for safety. And I swear I'm not like the stock. But I seriously feel so much comfort when I see like the little dots moving closer and everything's fine, because like that's definitely in my mind right now.
Until that dot gets there and Jared's not there. And then what happened? Like, is it the ghost? Like, who knows, right? Like,
I know.
never know.
That's not gonna happen. No,
Yeah.
that's just
No.
All very good answers. Mine would just be the unknowns. I don't know how you would draw that. Probably just like make the entire jug, like black it out, I guess. I'm not sure, but that would be mine. And you can experience all your fears in Cellphone, which is coming to digital on February 13th, 2024. This is director Luke Sommer, writer Rachel Sommer, and the stars Whitney Rose Pynn, Justin Jackson, and Jared Noble. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And it's
Thank
available.
you.
It's available for pre-order right now on Apple TV. So I thought I'd
There we go. Available for pre-order now. Get queued up so that maybe you won't have a technology failure on February 13th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Exactly.
much.